If you have 10 move in, 14 move out, they're just going down in property stock. It's a problem. It's a colander and we are leaking. It's a massive problem at the moment. Letting agents are losing, I'll give you some stats actually, over the last year, we've been asking agents in our network, out of all the properties that vacate every month, how many are ending up on the open market? And that figure is a staggering, which shocked me, 25%. So 25% of vacating properties appear to be ending up on the for sale market. Now, what happens in a traditional estate agency, letting agency business? Tenant says, I want to vacate. Tenancy manager says, Mr. Landlord, tenant wants to vacate. The landlord says, well, I want to sell. They'll pass that over to the sales department. Sales department will rub their hands, happy days. We've got a new sales instruction. Everybody's happy. Tenancy managers are crying because they're losing another property under management. What happens then is if you don't replace that with a new landlord and a new let moving in, if you have 10 move in, 14 move out, you've basically gone down by 4 properties. And if you track that number every month, the vacates versus the fully managed move-ins, that number up and down, most letting agents now are seeing that decreasing every month. So what's happening is they're just going down in property stock. It's a problem. It's a colander and we are leaking. Now, what do we do about that? It's really interesting because the belief of a lot of letting agents is that landlords aren't buying now, they're selling. So I just challenge you. Why don't you put an ad out and say, we've got properties for sale off market, landlords wanting to sell. If you're interested in buying, let us know and see what happens. Because when we did that, we had 177 investor landlords register over 3 days. And that was on a £10 a day ad spend. So if you believe that landlords aren't buying, that might not be the case. Now, there's some areas that's a bit slower than others. And up north, it would be even more prolific than it is here. So just think about how can you find people that want to buy the properties off your landlords that want to sell? Because if you think about it, if you've got 5 landlords a month wanting to sell, if you could sell 3 of those, let's say, to investors wanting to buy with a tenant already in situ, you don't have to ask the tenant to leave, they're going to get rent from day one, etc., etc. If you can sell that to an investor wanting to buy and charge the buyer, not the vendor, very important. Selling landlord doesn't have an estate agency fee. The buyer will pay you probably more like 2% rather than 1 or 1.5%, and you've got a brand new, fresh landlord. Now, here's one very important thing you have to insert into this process. You have to insert into the process that if you refer an off-market property to an investor who wants to buy, that they sign your terms for 2 years management. You have to sign them up to 2 years management. Once you've got that, you've got a brand new landlord signed to your new terms and conditions that's got everything structured tax efficiently, financially, that's going to be great, that's going to be on your client list now for the next few years. And so I don't know why more people don't do this. We're just happily sending them to the sales department. We're not thinking about it. Landlords want to sell, landlords want to buy, put the two together. It's basically what we do every day anyway, tenants and landlords, or vendors and buyers. So why don't we just find investors and landlords selling and put the two together? It's just an additional service. You make more money from it, you get brand new fresh landlords on your list, and it stops that property stock from failing. So it just stops that property stock from falling, stops you sitting there wondering why your property stock is going down. It's a really simple solution. One of the big challenges for landlords right now is, first of all, they've been hit with Clause 24. The changes that they can't get the interest back on their mortgage, meaning most landlords, it's just not financially viable. If they were buying properties between 1990 and 2010, the way they bought them, just it's not fit for purpose now. They can't put them into a limited company because by the time they've paid stamp duty and capital gains tax, it just doesn't make any sense. And so their only option really is to put up, shut up or sell it. And also we've got another situation at the moment as well where a lot of landlords that bought 25, 30 years ago, their mortgages have come to an end and they've got to pay them off and they can't pay them off. So they've either got to remortgage them, they might be too old to remortgage them, or they're just stuck with a property they can't refinance. So there's so many issues now for landlords coming through that just makes sense for them to sell. They can't get the interest back on the mortgage, they can't remortgage, it's coming to the end of the term, A, B or C, it doesn't matter, they're going to want to sell. Our only solution really is to find a buyer willing to replace that. And that's where this strategy, we call it on and off market. This is where it becomes really important to help landlords want to sell and help landlords that want to buy and put the two together. Because otherwise it's not going to get better. There's more legislation coming, it's just going to get worse. We've got to make sure that we keep on top of this, and it's the missing service in every single letting agency in the country, find investors that want to buy, put them together with investors that want to sell. Now, I'll be honest with you, those 177 that we had over the weekend, and we've now got a database around 4,500 investors that want to buy. I would say that out of that 4,500, 90% of those leads will be pretty rubbish. So we have to create a filter mechanism for the 10% that are good. So we work nurture the leads, we call the leads, we offer them the chance to join our VIP priority list. There's a small fee for that. Just filter, because the 10% of people on that list that are really good, those are the ones you want to be working with. And just takes a little bit of filtration system, a bit of email marketing, a bit of nurturing, a bit of upselling, and you've got a really powerful list then of people that are prepared to buy, the landlords of you that want to sell. And the great thing about it is the tenants don't have to vacate. The landlord can sell the property without fee through you and doesn't have to ask the tenant to vacate. What happens is the buyers just buy it with the tenants in situ. So everybody's happy. Tenants happy, selling landlord happy, buying landlord happy, you're happy, you've got a continuous management contract. What's not to love? It just makes absolute sense to do this. I don't know why more people don't do it. It's just crazy. So for me, if you want to stop the colander leakage of landlords every single month, which is the 25% of landlords selling, quite simply, add that third service in. Help landlords buy.